Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, have created new videos in American Sign Language to help you keep up with the latest COVID-19 news and guidance. Learn how to protect yourself and the people you care about from COVID-19.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sign1News. I'm Sign1News anchor Christopher D. Johnson. Here's a quick look at the top trending stories making headlines today. If you post an interesting comment about this update, we may add it at the bottom of the screen. It is official. Today, President Joe Biden made the formal announcement that he is seeking another 4 years in the White House. Biden argues he needs another 4 years in the White House to fully restore the nation's character. This announcement comes 4 years to the day that Biden made his 2020 official bid. And the 2024 contest could look similar to the one 4 years ago, with a potential rematch against former President Donald Trump. Biden might benefit from a possible rematch against Trump. According to a recent NBC News and Wall Street Journal poll, Biden has an estimated 3-point cushion over Trump. That's something he does not have against non-candidate Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, or a generic Republican hopeful. Biden is facing low approval ratings and questions about his age. He's already the oldest president in U.S. history. Jury selection began today, Tuesday, in New York in the civil trial that accuses former President Donald Trump of sexual assault. E. Jean Carroll filed a suit against Trump. She alleges he sexually assaulted her in the dressing room of a luxury department store in the 1990s. Trump has denied the allegations. He claims he's never met Carroll and says she made up the story to sell books. Trump is not likely to attend the trial. Once the jury is seated, their identity will remain anonymous to protect them from any potential threats. And in Georgia, Fulton County's District Attorney Fani Willis plans to announce this summer whether she'll charge former President Trump or his allies. Willis and a Fulton County grand jury have been investigating Trump and his team for allegedly trying to overturn Georgia's 2020 presidential election results. according to a letter from Willis submitted to local law enforcement officials. She explained a decision to charge Trump could provoke significant public reaction and violence, which means the need for heightened security and preparedness before the announcement. Legendary actor and activist Harry Belafonte has died. His publicist says he died of congestive heart failure Tuesday morning. Belafonte was the son of Caribbean immigrants who worked hard to pull himself out of poverty through music and education. Belafonte burst onto the entertainment scene in the early 1950s. He won rave reviews for his role in the movie Carmen Jones. It was one of the first films with an all-black cast to garner box office success. He starred in more than 10 movies over 50 years. He also recorded more than 40 albums. Belafonte won several Grammy Awards for his records in the early 1960s. He was also one of the first black performers to win a Tony Award. Although his music and movies gained him fame, Belafonte also made his mark as a political activist. In the 1960s, he stood up for the civil rights of blacks in America and stood side by side with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Bobby Kennedy. Two decades later, he turned his attention to the poor and powerless abroad, especially in Africa. He later started his own foundation focused on social justice. Belafonte died at 96 years old. "29-year-old Grammy Award-winning singer Meghan Trainor apologized for her recent controversial remarks about teachers. The comments came during a discussion about parenthood on her podcast entitled "Working on It." Trainor says she's homeschooling her kids and made an apparent reference to the frequency of school shootings. When her guest, Trisha Paytas, spoke about negative experiences with educators and concerns over potential bullies, Trainor added, quote, "F teachers, dude." Educators were quick to call Trainor out for the comments. She apologized on TikTok, saying she was fired up after recent school shootings in the U.S. Trainor added she and her husband were both bullied by teachers, and that experience played into her comments. "38-year-old basketball great Lebron James is adding another record to his list of accomplishments. He is now the oldest player in NBA history with 20 points and 20 rebounds in a playoff game. Monday's LA Lakers victory over the Memphis Grizzlies put him over the top. James replaces the record Wilt Chamberlain set at age 36 back in 1973. James is a 19-time All-Star who also holds the NBA's all-time scoring record. After Monday's game, Lakers players reportedly greeted James in the locker room with goat noises. In sports, GOAT stands for greatest of all time. Mattel introduced a new Barbie representing a person with Down syndrome. The chromosomal condition causes mild to severe learning disabilities and distinctive facial characteristics. For an accurate representation, Mattel says it worked with the National Down Syndrome Society on the doll's shape, clothing, accessories, and packaging. The Barbie doll has a rounder face, smaller eyes, ears, a flat nasal bridge, and slightly slanted eyes. Mattel says the palms include a single line, which is a characteristic often associated with Down syndrome. As for the doll's clothes, she is wearing a pink ankle foot orthotics, zip sneakers, a puff sleeve dress, and a special necklace. The doll is part of the Barbie Fashionistas line, which aims to offer kids more diverse representations of beauty and fight the stigma around physical disabilities. A movie theater in Alaska got a surprising visitor last Wednesday: a moose. Workers at the cinema in Kenai were surprised to see the animal walk right through the door and into the lobby at about 8 p.m. It happened after employees propped the door open to let some cool air in. The moose wasn't interested in seeing the show. Instead, it followed its nose directly to some popcorn left near the trash can. It spent about 5 minutes chowing down on a free meal before workers were able to coax it back outside. That's something they say they were only able to do because the moose was young. They would not have tried that if the moose was an adult. And that's it for today. Sign1News will be broadcasting updates Monday through Friday. A big thank you to our Sign1News app supporters. You help make this broadcast happen. You can download the Sign1News app by heading to the App Store or Google Play Store on your smartphone. But if you prefer to watch on television, iPad, or laptop, you can watch on Apple TV, Amazon, or Roku. Take care.